boys and girls. And you say hello to Miss Murray. Hello, Miss Murray. Well, we just had a holiday from school because it was Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And we're going to have a book today that is a song that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. used when he did his big assemblies and talked to lots of people. The name of the song is We Shall Overcome. Now, the word overcome is two words smushed together. It's the word over and it's the word come. And now it's smushed together, but does that mean it means come over? It seems like it would mean that, but it means a little bit different. We shall overcome means we shall triumph over something. We shall defeat something. Maybe you had a fear of walking up the tall stairs. And if you said, I'm going to do it, I'm going to walk up the tall stairs, and you get up there and you go, I did it. I overcame my fear. That means you defeated it and you were successful over something. So that's what the word overcome means. It means being successful. We shall overcome. It could say, we shall be successful. And this is a song, a very, very old song. In fact, this song is about 300 years old, and it started a long time ago, 300 years ago, when white people went to Africa and they stole African people and brought them to America to be slaves. Now, when you're a slave, you don't get any money. You also don't get to say, you know what, I don't want to be a slave anymore. You don't get to say that. You don't get to quit being a slave. Once you're a slave, you're a slave. And one of the things slaves had to do is in this picture, they're outside working in the fields, they're picking cotton. But another things the slave did was they sang. And one of the songs they sang was this song. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. I'll be all right someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe I'll be all right someday. Now, slaves were grown-ups and slaves were also children. And then about 250 years ago, America had a war. It was the Civil War. And at the end of the Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln said, we are not going to have slaves anymore in America. Slavery is outlawed. And all the people that were slaves, old people and young people, they're all free. But what happened was they were free, but they weren't really free because when the former slaves couldn't get any job they wanted, they couldn't live anywhere they wanted. So one of the things they did is they took the old slave song that they knew and they went to church and they all sang together, I'll overcome someday. I'll overcome someday. They believed things would get better and they sang. And what happened is America passed some laws that said people who used to be slaves couldn't do a lot of things. They couldn't ride on a bus. They couldn't buy any house that they wanted. They couldn't go to school. They couldn't eat at a restaurant. They couldn't drink out of a water fountain. They couldn't go to the public bathrooms. So the people who were former slaves said, uh-oh, we got to work together. And so they changed the words to the song again to, we will overcome. We will overcome. And they started working together. You see these ladies, they're wearing banners that say, we will organize, we will win our rights, we will win this fight, the union will see us through. And they said, you know what? We need more people. We got to get lots and lots and lots of people. So they called their friends up, and this guy, Pete Seeger, was friends with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and they changed the words to the song again. We shall overcome. And those are the words to the song that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had people sing with him when he had a big group of people saying together, we have to change the way things are. One of the things I said was people who were African American couldn't eat in a restaurant. This is in the southern United States. So these college students who were African American went to a restaurant and they sat down and they told the waitress, we would like to order lunch. Oh, look at the waitress. She does not look happy at all. And these patrons, they are very angry. Now, these boys and girls who were in college knew that it was illegal for them to sit down and order lunch. And when these people called the police and they said, there are some African American college students trying to get a sandwich at a restaurant. What are you going to do about it? The police came and arrested them. Now, when they sat down, they knew that's what was going to happen. And when they were taken away to jail, they were singing, we are not afraid. We are not afraid. Because there were some people in the United States that didn't know this was happening. So they said, if we get arrested, more people will find out. So this group of singers, the Freedom Singers, they got in a car in the 1960s, and that's what a car looked like in the 1960s. And they drove all over the United States. They put 50,000 miles on the car in 9 months, and they performed in living rooms, concert halls, elementary schools, jails, high schools, churches, rallies, singing We Shall Overcome, helping all the people in the States, inspiring them to believe that a change was coming. And they sang together, we are not alone. We are not alone. Then they said, you know what we had to do? We have to have everybody together in one place at one time. So they all decided to go to Washington, D.C., in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and old and young, boys and girls, grandmas and grandpas, black and white and Mexican and Asian and Indian, they all went together. They held hands and they sang, we'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. And that was big news. And it made the news. And then President Johnson got on the television and he said, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is right. And President Johnson quoted the words that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said. He said, we must overcome the crippling legacy of bigotry and injustice, and we shall overcome. But the song carried away from America, and it went all the way down to South Africa, where people were singing black and white together, black and white together. And then the song traveled all over the world. It went to India, East Germany, South Korea, Czechoslovakia, Northern Ireland, Bangladesh, China, the Middle East, South America. Wherever people worked for a better life, they sang together, we will live in peace. We will live in peace. And then in the year 2008, people did something they thought would never happen. These people back here, they never thought it could happen, that it was impossible. But an African American man named Barack Obama was elected President of the United States. And on his inauguration day, He stood up with a whole crowd of people filling Washington, D.C., and together they all sang the words to We Shall Overcome. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Today, people still struggle against hatred. They struggle for freedom. They struggle against poverty, and they struggle for fairness. They struggle against despair, and they struggle for hope. And we still sing. We sing to declare that, yes, we are all human beings, deserving of respect, sharing the same planet and the same future together. And this 300-year-old song that went through lots and lots and lots of changes is still being sung today. We shall overcome. So, friends, the next time it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and this information is on the television, you can sing along too. Goodbye, boys and girls. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, Miss Murray.